Welcome back to The Grind. In this video, we are going to talk about some of the tips for breeding event as well as some of the guides available. The main tip that I have is to follow a breeding guide. You want to only breed the dragons that you need to get the dragons that you want and advance through to the next tier. If you try to breed every single dragon within a tier, it's going to cost you a lot more to progress through the game. And the whole goal is to get to the next tier as quickly and cheaply as possible so that you can continue to get stronger dragons and get more eggs for your builder hut for fortification, and so you can level your divines higher. Some people are collectors and want to collect all of them if possible, and there is a guide available for the cheapest way to do that, but I would encourage you to mostly focus on advancing through the tiers and then consider breeding the older ones that you still want later on once you've advanced. The guides are also helpful because it can help you decide whether or not to use mythic fragments, because you do want to breed as many as you can with egg tokens, because some of them will give you eggs needed for your builder hut, which are essential for fortification. And these events are very closely tied together. You don't want to advance too far in one but not the other. I do have a couple more detailed videos on breeding event tips and how to get egg tokens, which you can find in my general game guides on my YouTube channel in the playlist section, and those will go into a little bit more detail on those specifics. Now, the main breeding guide that I have used is Red's Best Breeding Guide. Now, there are other sections where you can find all the different possible paths within each tier, and that can be helpful if you want specific dragons throughout each tier, but otherwise, there is also an option for Red's Cheapest, which gives the absolute cheapest way to progress through tiers. Now, this is okay, and it says here, this is designed to move quickly through the game and is not a strong path. And any player using this will be entirely reliant on their divines, which will be unable to evolve for periods of time. It's the best path for spenders who are rushing through tiers, or if you are really invested in the game and you grind really hard and you're progressing very quickly. Now, I did use this path for a period of time, I think through Sapphire or Garnet or Emerald, and then I switched over to Red's Best because it really isn't that much cheaper. And I just mostly like that Red's Best has all the details in one place about which ones give extra eggs and which ones you're suggested to use mythic fragments on. Now, what you get from this breeding path, and the link will be in the description below, what you can see is which dragon you're going to get in the first column here, and then what the two parents are, so you know which ones to click to breed. And at the different sections, there's cutoff which say you can switch from different paths to another one if you prefer. Now, it says the cost of those, and it's only with the discount as of August 2019, because unfortunately Red does not play anymore, so this is no longer being updated after these dragons here. And then it gives you the minimum level required for you to do those breeds, as well as the running total of egg tokens that it would have costed up to that point. And then it shows you which are okay to use mythic fragments on, but honestly, the best time to use it is on the later tiers. So I really have been saving all mine up unless I wanted to get one more breed in a certain event, or I needed extra points, so I would spend some mythic fragments, which is very helpful for planning your event. You want to know what you're expected to complete in an event, so then you can plan out whether you want to use egg fragments, mythic fragments, or not. And you want to primarily use them only on ones that say good to use or okay to use, as long as you are not going to cheat yourself out of the harbinger or whatever egg you need for your hut egg. So that is where you can use this last column, extra eggs, to see how many of that type of egg you'll get from doing that breed without using mythic fragments. And you really want to make sure you're getting enough of those extra eggs for your builder hut so that when you get to fortification, fortification event, you can actually build the buildings up that will match where you're at in breeding event. Now, if you are far ahead in fortification, you might need to slow down, because if you have 15 level 40 buildings, that means your base is going to be weaker for your level. Whereas if you were up to date with your builder hut, you probably would have 5 level 55 buildings, which is going to be a lot stronger, or something like that. Just an example. So I really like the breeding guide for this because it gives you all that extra information. So for me, I'm currently down here at, I just bred Lucian, and then I'll be breeding Oculex this time. Now, I've forgotten to finish incubating Capulos, so I just did that, and I'm gonna have to level up Capulos before I can continue with the breed. I haven't decided what I'm going to do fully in this event yet, if I'm going to just get Oculex or go on for Bilge as well. But I'm excited to move into Abyssal Tier. Now, I also really briefly want to point out that there is this guide, which has a lot of different tools in it for looking at EXP on your dragons. Feeding event is old. You can look at speed ups, which calculates all those different things. But mainly what I like about it is the breeding tool, because you can set what your breeding event goal is, how many points you want, and then you can look up the dragon's egg fragment total and put that in here, and then how many egg tokens that breed is going to cost you, and it will calculate different things for you based on what you want to spend. So you can say, I want to use certain amount of egg tokens, and then it will say you have to spend this many more mythic fragments to finish the breed, and then it'll tell you how many more points are required to complete your event goal. So you can put in different numbers to figure out what you want to do depending on what you want to do. Now, if you want to start with mythic fragments, you say, I want to use this many mythic fragments. It'll tell you you have to spend this many egg tokens to finish your breeding event, breeding that dragon. And then you can do a combination here, and it will tell you how many more egg tokens you'll need to spend to get that goal done. So what I like, and you can also just use this last one that says, if I use this many tokens and this many fragments, what's my score? So I like this because it allows me to put in different combinations to find out how many of those will I need to use the mythic fragments in order to hit my point goal at the same time that I completely finish breeding that dragon, without having to start on another dragon or waste tokens on research breeding. So it's nice if you only have one dragon that you're breeding and you want to make sure you hit a certain point milestone, you can do a combination of mythic fragments and tokens, and this will tell you exactly how many you need. Now, unfortunately, Red's breeding guide does not have the Verdant tier dragons in it. There are some other stuff like on the forums and other players have. This one is from Megs. You can find it on the forums. It tells you which dragons you need to combine to breed which one, the child on the far left, and the cost tells you how many breeding tokens that will take. I know some other players have also put some time into making some spreadsheets. Like Daedalus sent me these images here, and he put this together with Morion's information, which you can get from Neon War Dragon's website. I'll put the link in the description so you can go and look at that. It has a lot of very helpful information as far as buildings, levels for buildings, breeding parents, getting eggs, a whole bunch of stuff that you should look at. But this is what he sent me as one of the things. It shows the dragon that you want to breed, which parents are for that dragon, what the cost is. So this might be helpful for some who are trying to breed a specific Verdant tier dragon. Now, there are different combinations that you can use to go from certain dragons if you want the sorcerers or the hunters or the warriors. And so here's a couple other options for combinations, and another one here which shows some different options or combinations that you can use to get the different Verdant tier dragons that you might preferably be wanting to get. So I do hope this video was helpful, and I hope it gets you the information you need for this breeding event if you are looking for answers. If you have other tips or suggestions, put them in the comments below to help me and other players, and I will see you in the next video.